I'm Jarrett Rush. I'm the Director of Content Marketing here at Idea Grove, and I'm talking to Alexis Diehl today. She is a senior leader on our PR team. And I wanted to talk a little bit, Alexis, about the importance of agility and being nimble in your marketing and PR. And obviously, from your perspective, we are going to rely on you for your expertise in PR. So why is agility important in public relations?
Well, and I mean, obviously we're talking about during this time it's so important, but it must be a cornerstone of any PR campaign. It's absolutely crucial to keep a finger on the pulse of the media landscape, what reporters are talking about, both in traditional and social media. And that is what really enables you and empowers you to be nimble and agile in the media landscape. A lot of, that's why a lot of mid-market companies specifically bring in an agency, because they simply don't have the bandwidth to really do all of that monitoring, keep a pulse on what's going on in the media. And that's where your agency comes in, is to be able to say, okay, here's what we're seeing, not only in traditional media, but social media. The reporters that we follow are covering this, this, and this. And there's a number of things that play into a company's ability to be nimble. Some of those things are making sure that your PR team or PR agency actually has all of your information, has all of your big news, your announcements, your staffing changes, your executive team, your subject matter experts that are available, and then also just kind of checking in on a regular basis on, here are the trends in your industry, and here are the things that we can speak to in regards to those trends, so that you can jump on those opportunities as they arise.
So you mentioned mid-market companies, and that is sort of where our sweet spot is. We focus on mid-market B2B tech PR companies, and I think we like those companies because they present a bit of a challenge, right? They're not that spunky startup that has the quirky founder who's got that crazy personality, and so it's really easy to focus on that person. And they're not that big enterprise. Right. Just because of their existence, they get lots of attention. So why is agility so critical for those mid-market companies?
Well, I mean, for one, a lot of times these mid-market companies, they're not a startup anymore because they have some really innovative products or services that they're offering. So that aligns with that ability to be able to jump on trends and be a thought leader in their space. And it's actually a lot easier for mid-market companies rather than those giant enterprises, because you simply don't have to go through 27 people to get the green light to go ahead and take advantage of a proactive opportunity. Instead, you have 1 to 3 people who need to, check that box and make sure that you can move forward. The trick is really setting those expectations from the beginning with a client and saying, here's what we need to be successful and to take advantage of these proactive opportunities. Are these things available? Let's flesh out the details there, and then making sure that we have everything we need to do the legwork on the PR side and say, okay, cool, we saw this opportunity. We want to make sure that we present you for this. We've spoken to the reporter. These are the questions. Here's background on the reporter, so that by the time that we set up an interview or are able to get like actual, topic questions, they feel completely prepared to enter that interview or that conversation with confidence.
So, having these opportunities and his ability to move fast is important, but we have seen clients who just don't have that instinct, right? They kind of hem and haw about something, and they think too long, and then that opportunity is gone. It passes. So if that is your instinct, I guess, well, first, what kind of causes that, and how do you change it if you're one of those companies?
Well, a lot of that is, just really honing in on emphasizing the importance of, or changing perspective, changing hearts and minds within a company. So having your PR team say, hey, these are the opportunities. We've also found with a lot of clients, we'll consistently present opportunities. They may not be able to take advantage of them due to their internal kind of roadblocks that they're hitting. But as you continue to say, hey, here's what we need. We need a subject matter expert to speak on this. We need some information about trends. We need information about how your announcements relate to trends. And as they see those opportunities and the repetition of the same thing being talked about that we need, they're like, oh, wait a second. If we actually had this in place, we could have done these 10 other opportunities and really elevated our voice in the media. And so they slowly but surely start to really catch on there, but it does take a little bit of time sometimes. And, you know, any good PR department or PR agency is going to say, these are the requirements for this level of visibility, and we will prepare you in every way that we can to take advantage of them. But in the meantime, these are the opportunities being missed. And at the end of the day, any missed opportunity just results in diminished ROI. And our goal is always to make sure that our clients are absolutely maximizing every marketing dollar that they're spending.
So I think a lot from the marketing side about the opportunity and agility. And when I think about it, the things you need really are sort of a really detailed buyer persona, and you need approved upon or agreed upon messaging to kind of be able to move. It's that foundational piece that allows you to be agile. Then when an opportunity presents itself, there's not a lot of back and forth about what are we going to say, who are we going to say it to kind of stuff, or conversations. You mentioned a second ago the requirements from PR perspective to move quickly. What are some of those requirements more specifically?
So some of those requirements, I mean, most reporters want to have a unique perspective on current and possibly future trends. So that's a big one. A lot of them are going to want to talk to an executive. They don't typically want to talk to a marketing person. They want to talk to either someone who is, you know, with our clients specifically in the technology space, they want to talk to someone who really knows the ins and outs of the technology, or they want to talk to somebody, you know, at the C-level. So having that person available, or that true expert, that is critical a lot of times. Also, having data and statistics to back what you are talking about, that's huge. So companies that put out, you know, reports and survey results, those can be really, really great in leveraging in just being able to take advantage of media opportunities, because, you know, media, typically, they're really interested in those facts. So putting some tangible statistics next to, you know, the proof point of your messaging is really, really valuable and allows you to take advantage of opportunities or even create new opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to before. And one of the other things that I was just thinking was kind of the listicles. So if you've got 7 tips for something, that's pretty much always pretty viable, as long as it's, again, looping back into a trend. So, you know, who doesn't love a 7 tips and tricks article? So helpful. And even, you know, it used to just be like BuzzFeed, but now it's these really technical trade publications that want that, because we're a society now that we need really bite-sized, compartmentalized information so it's easily digestible.
You mentioned having an executive available, having tangible stats. I'm assuming that means, you know, revenue figures and clients to talk to. If you're a company who naturally wants to hold that stuff kind of close to the vest and doesn't want to give too many details, I'd rather just talk in generalities. How do you break yourself out of that? Because obviously that's not going to work in terms of getting you attention from the media.
Yeah, no, lots of companies seem to not want to talk about exactly how much money they make. So that can be a struggle, especially if you're putting out, you know, like a momentum announcement. People do want to see numbers, but there are ways to get around that. Same with, you know, companies who don't want to cite specific customers that are, you know, using their technology or service or products. If we can group some of their customers into a specific industry, saying, you know, fill in the blank client is seeing a especially crucial need within the healthcare industry, with a number of their clients now, you know, submitting requests for information on X, X, and X. again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to really loop everything back to a trend, because if you're just talking about your product or service, that's just frankly not very newsworthy. It has to relate to something that people actually care about, or else you come off, I mean, that's the difference between PR and advertising. So you have to relate it back to the bigger picture. But yeah, and having those SMEs available is so crucial. And even if they can't speak to the exact numbers or the customers or any of that, that's where it shifts from company news to thought leadership and, you know, insights on an industry and the trends within that industry, rather than, and here's how we're doing exactly. Mm-hmm. Yep, you can speak to growth in, you know, we've brought on more customers in education or in healthcare or in government, and talk about the influx of, you know, demand and need there, and how that client is meeting that demand and need in a way that allows you to keep some anonymity with the actual customer base.
Well, Alexis, thank you so much for taking some time today to talk about this topic. It's something I'm very interested in, and you gave us some great insight. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.